Of Ghana. We started this initiative 3 years ago, and this is our third attempt at bringing people here to see how beautiful this part of Ghana is. So, to explain, the Vodza Ecotourism Initiative is an initiative started by a handful of indigents of Vodza, including myself, my siblings, our aunts. We call her Jubilee, Mrs. Bridget Katriku, leading us and guiding us in trying to bring attention to the area because it's really beautiful. The village Vodza is flanked on one side by a lagoon, the largest lagoon in Ghana called the Keta Lagoon, and then the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. Tomorrow morning when you get to the Regatta grounds, you understand the beauty. So when we talk about ecotourism, we've been trying to preserve the landscape and the environs. So as most of you know, this area is prone to tidal waves. But after the damage, we're still left with, some beauty. Some years ago, the land was reclaimed, and we have a few man-made islands that attract a lot of migratory birds, over 70 of them, most of them coming from as far as Europe and so on and so forth. It's actually a very beautiful ride. If you drive from Accra, which is only 140 or 170 kilometers from here, instead of coming through Dabala, you go through Vodza, and then do Anglo-Afiadeniba, and then you enter Vodza, and through that way you'll see how beautiful the lake is. You see a lot of migratory birds, so on and so forth. Anyway, having said that, the livelihood for the people in this area, the main livelihood is fishing. And so we chose to recognize that by organizing the Regatta, which is essentially, boat racing competition for the fishermen, not just the fishermen from Vodza, but the surrounding villages, Anyako, Anyanui, and so on and so forth. And it's very interesting, it's very encouraging to them, and most importantly, it spurs on the economy as we bring people here. Aside from the beauty of the waters, we also have, not too far from here, in where we have a lighthouse, believe it or not. So please, on your way out on Sunday, stop by and see the lighthouse. We have a slave market in Atoko, and then of course, right here in Keta, we have a slave castle called Fort Pristonston, which has its own story. So this is an introduction to what Keta and its environs have to offer. But this next 2 days is going to be as Vodza-centric as possible. And we want to thank Mr. Kobe Williams, the owner, MD of Villar Amore, for hosting us tonight. Kobe has always been with us. Of course, we live in Accra, so he's like a brother to us, also showing us and making us understand the dynamics of this place. Much as we want to help, we also need to understand what the needs of the locals are. So thank you very much for supporting us and coming out and seeing us. And please feel free to, taste the local drinks. We have some local food for you as well. And you see all that coconut? It's not from Cape Coast, it's from here. So drink as much as possible. Okay, thank you very much.
Yelafia by a good chana, Amakopo, Kanazumo, people, Prodigy, Va, Alava, Amaducho, Abluchi, Evulaniadum, Adoni, Evokoma. Aha, Alaba, O Vaba, you are, Akbu, Topper, Alec and Dunamiapa, as a tope alley. Le Niapo Pugoma Fia, a chapu Yamika than Afnami, Yokodan Chapua, Malama. Apa, hey, Blomilafia, a chapua gaja Kamatete Paglimi. Just to see that over we see defense talk here in America. Ayu we see defense heavy bakla hado yo kana mi poa wo ajujumcho Europa du koma buka kafa du Ghana mu ko jefara kokwa kata ado Vodza iko po alabe island ado todo makboya kana la Vodza afma goju ke heavy over alengema. Just you at the one of via Dumabe, you are anno a beautiful ladies there. The cape is there, and the t-shirt with a Lacoste is there. The cape is 60 cities, and the shirt also, the t-shirt is 60 and 80 cities. It depends on the one that you will write our sponsors, that is First Atlantic Bank. Taka hafimia ayidaji ma adomone ntinya ado story. Hello. Oh, okay. He is most welcome with his team. We have Mr. Kofi Owusu, Managing Director, Zach Computers, and his wife. Thank you. Woezor Keta. Yes, thank you.
Singers, healers, diviners, and storytellers. These people were among the custodians of our history, culture, and traditions. They were also among the prominent priests of the Anglo land. This background got him involved in our arts and culture very early on in life. Between 1981 and 1985, while teaching in the elementary school, he directed the school's cultural troupe in dance, poetry, and drama. Under his artistic directorship, the school's troupe won the Regional Arts Festival. His interest and involvement in our indigenous art forms subsequently led him to take the position of a master drummer in the School of Performing Arts, University of Ghana, Legon. He later enrolled in the same School of Performing Arts and successfully graduated with a diploma in theater arts. After graduating from the School of Performing Arts, he served as a teaching assistant and went up to work as a cultural officer at the Eastern Region Center for National Culture. During these times, he also was an artistic director of a cultural troupe he founded. This troupe featured regularly at major events, including the Anglo Hobechocho Festival in the Anglo land. Fast forward to 1992, he won the Geoffrey and Margaret Andrews Fellowship to teach and study at the University of British Columbia School of Music. In the same year, he gained admission to the Simon Fraser University School of Contemporary Arts to pursue a Master of Fine Arts degree. He obtained a PhD in Arts Education with specialization in curriculum development and implementation in the same university. He has quite a remarkable lecturing career, which I'll try to summarize. While in Simon Fraser University, Vancouver, he taught courses such as performing arts and cultural studies, interdisciplinary African music and dance. He also taught education courses such as classroom management and discipline, social issues in education, and multicultural education. Towards the end of his PhD, and also in the early periods after completing his PhD, he taught in Nicola Valley Institute of Technology in Merritt, Canada. In that institute, he taught courses such as human resource management, organizational behavior, technical communication, and accounting. He went up to the University of Arizona, Tucson, USA, and between the years 2001 and 2003, he taught courses such as interdisciplinary performing arts, media arts and society, human consciousness and worldview formation. He then went to Arizona State University in the same US of A in the year 2004, where he taught for a year African music and dance and culture, or to summarize, dance anthropology. After that, he joined York University's dance department in the year 2004. York University is in Toronto, Canada, and has been teaching undergraduate and graduate courses there till date. Beginning as an assistant professor, he rose to the rank of an associate professor. He has authored several academic papers and books. As a leading member of the Southern Volta Association of Canada, he contributed his professional know-how by directing the Southern Volta Association of Canada's Hogochocho Festival celebrations for several years. In all his artistic career, he continues to promote and project his Anglo-Ewe culture. Therefore, it should come to us as no surprise that he was installed a chief of the Longwe clan of Anglo in August of 2016. Our storyteller for tonight is a family man. He is married with children. I happen to be one of those children. Beyond the borders of the performing arts, his academic and cultural interests cover the history and the culture of the Anglo-Ewe. Of course, this is the context of his main art forms. He is an artist, but the act is in context. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, what we are in for this evening is a scholarly, dispassionate, and intriguing account of the migration and history of the Anglo-Ewe from our very own Professor Togi Damaji IV. Professor Togi, your audience. Audience, Professor Togi.
Ayo, mucinya tokiara ke, obama kelana micunya apa jaja mengci, alenya tokio, nya mamau aljoy. Afi obaji mibiami lafi agba. Atsa barat tititia, oja mabato fun fonano va yinga ka umala nana ka dari gobio. Apa barakan bawa ba ngka rakana ko wana ho kato no ma Goraka ika kogano ongu koshak bakle hafi batona bano chichim anu nula mano dadamri awe banano lia ya nyome tenge glogo karu kumia susui ake mo batota kumia to gi hun zan ko nula mwe dadamri to haji jokla bufofo klo nchinya o mako aro ni mia jelo klona mi kumia mo mia bato dablama mia jelo no dayo ma mi hade gaseno problem review ye mi apono sosro ma ha ye gano ro sro to maro bo ka pa de ha jam go blogger na mi na mo ple na mo do na mara ha nya ro ga kwa pi e nye nya ji lao ya pongo to supu dala ka o ala dari wo ma ko aglo na mi o ha nya ji lao o mi ayo fi ba o maybe I should speak English a bit. Yeah. Okay, so a brief story about the Togo Anglo-Ewes, their migration and settlement, historical and tourist sites. So the Vao, as we are called, and popularly they call us the Ewes. We form a group of West African people who came to settle in the southern part of the Republic of Togo, actually Republic of Benin, southern part of Togo, and southeastern part of Ghana. So again, some researchers refer to places such as Bele, we don't know where it is, Iraq, Egypt, Ethiopia, are some of the earliest settlements of the Wao. However, according to one of our scholars, Professor Amanuma, there is no concrete basis for such assertions. So, but there again, my research, which I conducted quite recently, also confirmed or supported the view that some of the earlier settlements of the Ewe people, there's a particular place they call Ghana, or they refer to Ghana Empire, which according to one of my informants from Mali, from the Bamana people, this name refers to wolf, or a place inhabited by wolf-like creatures. So this name Ghana is reported to have been given to an empire that flourished in the northern part of West Africa, southwestern part of Sudan, between 400 to 700 AD. So again, it is similar, this name is similar to the Ewe name Ghana, which we call Amagahi too. And it refers to wolf or sly fox, which another Ewe informant maintained was the name given to the old Ghana Empire by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah when the country attained its independence. It was formerly called Gold Coast. So in our oral tradition, you hear expressions, Ghana, especially in a fan divination, when diviners are invoking the spirit, they will, continue the appellation, I mean, this is Polyjongwe, the first divinity in Ifa divination treatise. Lolo, Ganavutuma Zatoli Huma Bunao. Lolo, the male wolf dog does not stray while treading on the father's path. And they will continue. Alienyo, Alieglon, Tonyo, Toglon, Gonyo, Goglon. The path is good but curved. The river is good but meanders. The shore or the bank of the river is good but curved. In his research in the Anglo of history and culture, Mamata states there is in Anglo the tradition called Lanclevu under the custody of the Like clan. It is generally believed that this drum, also known as Ganabu, dates from the period of the stay of the ancestors of Wao in a community within the Ghana Empire. A global Ghana Gomenya Amagahi 1978 Unglobama. Nyaga Ijia, the Bamana informant, also maintains that the name Sun Tiata, usually in school they tell us Sunjata, which was given to one of the emperors of whole Ghana Empire in about 12th century AD, means great lion, or big lion, or lion king. So Su in the Bamana language means great or big, and Zata is lion. And these words are similar to the Ebe expression. So in Ebe we say Zata, Su in the Ebe vocabulary means something which is big or great, which is, in abundance. And then lion is Zata here too. So the lion king corresponds to the Ebe usage of the word or the name. So you also come across names such as Amari, Zata, Nyafu, Anihagle, Kumasa, Gotarua. So when we continue, a number of Ebe historians refer to Oyo, Aja, Efe or Ife, and Ketu in the present day southwestern Nigeria and southeastern Benin, respectively, as some of the earliest settlements of the Ebes or their predecessors. Some historians date the Ebes settlement at Oyo and Ketu around the 14th century, the latest. Again, concerning the founding of Oyo and Ketu, for instance, according to oral tradition, Oyo or Old Oyo was founded by Oranya, the grandson of Oduduwa, the founder of Ile-Ife. So the kingdom of Ile-Ife is reported to have been founded in about 11th century AD, shortly before the founding of Oyo. Sorry if I speak English throughout. So Yoruba tradition, according to Reverend Samuel Johnson, the story of the Yoruba, Reverend Geoffrey Parinda, the story of Ketu, the Yoruba speaking people of the slave coast of West Africa, assert that one Lamurudu, one of our great ancestors, he begat Oduduwa, who migrated from the east with his followers. So traveling west, he wandered for about 90 days and finally settled at a spot of West African coast called Ife. So here he met one Agbonirenku, the founder of the god of divination. So Oduduwa, the founder of Ile-Ife and an ancestor of the Yoruba, died in Ife. So he, Oduduwa, begat Okambi, who also died at Ife. But Okambi begat 7 princes and princesses who became renowned, and from them sprang the tribes of the Yoruba nation. Again, it is maintained that the Yoruba, the Fon, and the Ewe were once called Adzao, and it is further stated that after the ruin or the destruction of the fall of the Oyo, there emerged an exclusively Ewe kingdom at Ketu in modern Dahoma. So Ketu is believed to have been founded by Allah Ketu, a relative of Orania. So concerning our migration from Oyo and Ketu, it is stated that it was the westward expansion of the Yoruba that had led to the Ewe's migration from Oyo and Ketu around the 15th century. And according to some prominent Anglo-cultural historians, the Ewe migrated from Ketu under the leadership of Togiga Kuboka around the 15th century. So from Ketu, the Ewe settled at the lower part of the Kwara and Mono rivers, where the people living at the upland of the river referred to them as a Vau or a Vomao, meaning people living along the valley or depression of the river. Again, this river came to be known as River Kweme in French maps or on French maps. So again, further westward migrations of the Yoruba had caused the Ewes to move to settle at Agboma in the southern part of Benin. Later, the Ewe broke into 3 groups, and one group moved northwest and settled at Togo-Nigo within the Adale region of Togo. And the name Togo-Nigo is said to have been derived from the words Dogogo, Nigogo, meaning many hoes and many hippopotamus or cows. So that is the meaning of Togo-Nigo according to an informant. So there at Togo-Nigo, they usually engage in communal labor, in farming, fishing, and in building houses. So when they go to cut off the thatch for roofing, they will be singing the Govio, Ibahuge, Gachona, Tofamano, Lokaka, Lokaka, Lolo, Lolo, Lokaka, one of the rhythms that we play in Pagisu. So another group of the Ewes moved southwest and settled at a place called Tado or Tando. Again, another group crossed River Mono and founded Ngoche. I hope you summarizing from now. So Ngoche became the principal settlement of the Ewes as more Ewes moved from the east to live there. So according to Toby Agokoli, I think the 6th or so, the present king of Ngoche, the word Ngoche was originally derived from the concept Noeche, Anogeche, or Woha Anoeche, meaning you can also live or settle here. Amy Agobozan, 2019, let me skip some sections. So we were told that the Tado kingdom was rocked by a series of unrest and around the 15th century, which gave rise to the migrations and the founding of Alada and of course Ngoche. So the migrants who left Tado followed the path of a hunter by the name Aforte and Ndichi, or the ancestor Dan. It just depends upon the version of the story that you are told. So more people moved to Ngoche, and Ngoche became the principal settlement, as I said. So it is located about 95 kilometers north of Loma, the capital of Togo. And Ngoche also had many quarters. It still has many quarters, namely Tegbe, Tako, Ekli, Agbaladoma, Anakwel, and Adima. Again, we were told the kingdom of Ngoche was fenced with thick and tall wall, which portrayed a unique architectural design, as well as protected the citizens from harmful creatures and unfavorable environmental conditions. So according to Kaibo and Africa, the remains of these walls at Ngoche encompass the perimeter of 15 kilometers. So only the diameter also. So according to Mamata, the Ngoche wall was about 24 feet high and 18 feet in diameter. Okay, I'm ready. So some rulers of the Ngoche kingdom. The kingdom of Ngoche was ruled by kings notable among whom were Da, Agor, Agokoli. The king of Ngoche carries several titles, including Anyigba Fia, Mawu Fia, and Home Fia. So the migration and settlement of the Dugbo at Ngoche. So we were told the Dugbo, including the ancestors of the animal Ebao, who later migrated from Dogonyigbo to Ngoche, settled in an area known as Agbaladoma under the leadership of Gemedra and his children, Atu Madopi Banya, Ate Adetanyaki, Abajikla Kotui, Botosechi, and so forth. So the exodus of the Dugbo areas from Ngoche and its coast. According to oral and written historical accounts, the old chiefs of Ngoche ruled well and the kingdom prospered or flourished. Trouble began when Agor died and was succeeded by his son Akoli. So conflict arose later from Agokoli's desire to leave his traditional enclosure, because we have Agbobovi, the inner circle, the royal circle, and Agboboga, the bigger circle. So again, conflict arose because of the construction of the wall, which involved the mobilization of large manpower and under extremely unpleasant conditions. So we were told Agokoli punished those who did not obey him and so forth. It is maintained that the majority of the Dugbo areas left Ngoche because of the tyrannical rule of Agokoli, but some critics opine that the perceived harsh and tyrannical rule of Agokoli was his way of maintaining discipline and order in the kingdom under uncertain environmental conditions. So according to some earlier reports and a recent speech delivered by Toby Agokoli, the 6th or the 4th, at Noche in 2019, population growth and the need for territorial expansion were other factors that contributed to the exodus of the people from Noche. So some of the causes of the exodus, we were told at Tado there was a man called Atala Zavwe who went hunting one day and founded China, the rainstone, or Nyeruji, royal insignia in the belly of an elephant that he had killed. And after his death, his son Adza Ashimari succeeded him. And we were also told that Adza Ashimari once visited Noche at Baladoma and was hosted by Wonya, the king or the leader of the Dogbo. So Adza Ashimari took this opportunity to secretly conceive Wonya's sister, Asongwe or Kopi, and they had a male issue called Ponoi. After the death of Adza Ashimari, at Tado, there was conflict among his sons pertaining to the possession of his royal insignia, China or Nyeruji. Ponoi, who was then a young man, fled with his royal emblem or the father's emblem to his uncle Wonya, who had hidden him for some days and later presented him to the Dogbo at a gathering and said, Matre Fiamihe, Miasrida, I show him to you, revere him. Hence the word Miasrida, as uttered by Wonya, was contracted to Sri or Sri and became Onoi's new name. Some accounts hold that Wonya's presentation of Sri to the community marked the beginning of his recognition, or Sri's recognition as a person who should be revered and as a youth king or leader. The final cause of the exodus of the Dogbo Ebes from Noche, again, two versions prevail within the oral and written traditions. One version holds that one day a young man from the Dogbo quarter and another young man from King Agokoli's quarter were playing a game called Ave or Avetetre, which involved a player burying a stringed loop in the earth for a co-player or contender to unearth with a stick. In the process, a misunderstanding arose between the two youngsters pertaining to the winner of the game. As a result, the young man from Agokoli's quarter accidentally hit the forehead of a young man from the Dogbo quarter with a sharp object, which rendered him unconscious. The people of Agbaladoma informed Agokoli that his son or relative had killed their son or relative. Hence, Agokoli ordered the execution of his son or relative to atone for the alleged homicide of the young man from the Dogbo quarter. Some days later, Agokoli's wife spotted the young man that was reported to have been murdered at a public place and went and reported this to the king. Now, the second narrative holds that a dispute arose between the Dogbos and members of the Agokoli's quarter at the drumming site when Jadua, a close relative of King Agokoli, hit a Dogbo elder by name Aga with a sharp instrument on the forehead, which rendered him unconscious. Shortly after the incident, a Dogbo elder died, and some Dogbo elders sent words to the Agokoli that it was Aga, the injured man, who had passed away. To this end, Agokoli rendered his close relative or son to be killed in reparation to the alleged homicide of the Dogbo elder, according to the laws of the land. Weeks later, Agokoli got to know that he had been deceived into surrendering his son or relative to be killed in reparation for the alleged homicide of the Dogbo elder. So, and that gave rise to the further molestation of the Dogbo Ebes. So it is stated that at a funeral of the alleged deceased, Sri was overjoyed after drinking local bito chakpalu and boasted before some Ngokche elders. Nyawe ye atavi oto atatoma, ama makumaku hongbialao. Meaning, we are the offsprings of Adar from Atatomo. We avenge the death of the living. So it is maintained that this utterance had angered Agokoli and Ngokche elders. Hence, he had intensified the molestation of the babies through hard labor. He would ask them to knead clay mixed with prickly thorns, cacti, and broken pots, etc., and weave ropes with the mixture. Nusa sonya he, kidodonya, hamakbagokuo. Nusa sonya he. Thank you. That day you were the wise people. So to this end, the Dubo consulted an elder, Tagli, who advised them to tell the king. Meaning, it is on the older rope models that new ones are woven. Therefore, Agokoli should provide the old rope for us to use as a model for weaving new ones. And again, this statement reflected in the following song, Baodolo, Baodo, Beazafiado, Bamanye Babo. Thank you. And the meaning of that song, the voice he utters, the voice he utters, the voice Atafia utters portends no evil. It is on the older models that new ones are woven. The voice he utters portends no evil. The molestation continued. The response by the Dubo to Togi Agokoli's demand further infuriated or annoyed him so much that he had intensified the molestation of the Dubo elders. When the situation became unbearable, the Dubo resolved to escape from Ngokche. In preparation for the exodus or migration, the Togo women were advised to throw water or wastewater and urine on a particular part of the mulching wall whenever they engaged in household chores in order to soften the wall over time. So during the evening prior to the exodus, the Togo or the Eve began to perform music and dance, notably Misago or Misago, which means get up your loin or get ready. One more. Ago bonahe, Misago bonahe. Boblaman wisho, Misago, Misago. Oh, Babaga. And said, Mau Keta, Wobo Nami Nyadugo Azo, God omnipresent, open the gate for us and let us go. He then raised the sword or dagger in his hand and thrust it into the southern part of the wall and broke it. The women passed through it with their belongings on their heads, followed by children, men and musicians dancing misago, stepping forward and backward while facing the kingdom and moving away from it until they move far away. Nuya wama majaza, agbamanuya tuma majazalo. Restless days and nights, in pains and helplessness, they witnessed their loved ones falling along the wayside. But with supreme guidance and perseverance, the rest of them have made it home. In the course of this migration, the Dobu Eve rested at Savier or at the place where they grew beans and waited for them to yield before they continued the journey. Hence the name Savier, meaning yield a little, was given to this historical resting place, which is presently located about 20 kilometers south of Moche. And it is said that there they grew beans, and the pigs will come and destroy part of it or part of them. And so that gave rise to this saying, Aibo pe, ao pelo, Aibo pelo, ao pelo, aglo, anyo, ao, or how. Again, later at Gapur, the Ebe split into 3 groups, and a group went northwards and founded the settlements of Hokwe, Mate, Alavanyo, Awudoma, Palima, Adu, Bever, etc. Another group, or the second group, founded the settlements of Aho, Akovia, Takla, Benue, Clevi, Sokode, Abuja, Adaklu, to mention a few. The third group, led by Tobi Bonya, his siblings and his nephew Sri, moved southward. Further division occurred in Bonya and Sri's party, and Sri and his siblings, Atofia and Atoyi, went through Ave, Fanyi, Jota, and Mafi. Bonya and his followers went further through places such as Apipe, Achitati, the Virgo, Avalaviga, Vota, where he left his son Agbana, Klenomadi, Klikor, where he left some descendants of Ado family, Fiako, Alakla, Koji, Kaji, Keta, Tegbi, Wei, and other towns in the southern part of the Vodza region. On reaching a place now called Anglogan, Vanya became tired and had to be carried in a hammock by his nephews, Atu and Etse Bezer. Upon going a little further southward, southwestward, Vanya expressed, Nyama Manglo, Afiaraka yi Magala Munyako. Meaning, I am folded. I can't go anywhere any further. Hence the name Anglo, which derived from Vanya's utterance, was given to the 36 duo or towns and villages that were originally founded by Vanya, his sons, siblings, nephews, followers, and other people within the group who came to settle in these towns and villages. And Anglogan became the traditional capital of the Anglo state or kingdom. So this is how we founded our Anglo kingdom before we continue to found other towns and villages. We together have added to the greater Anglo, or constitute part of the greater Anglo. And here we can wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. Africa. Some of our people migrated through forced migration to places such as United States, Jamaica, Trinidad, Tobago, Europe, etc. And we continue to migrate to Europe and other places in search for economic and educational opportunities. But we are here. We are all one people. Thank you for listening. Beach. We have other lodges and guest houses. We have the Aborigines just nearby. We have Lone beaches for now. We have the Amuga, the big river, which.
You said Dr. Kalu Kuba derived the word Ghana. I wanted to go where the name says we pick up. I want to understand the storyline from that aspect.
So, according to an informant, when I was at the University of Ghana, I was doing research about the migration of the Ebe people. And then one old man, Hove Banili, told me that the name Ghana was derived from the word Ghana, but I laughed. So I went further into Ifa divination, and I know the first divinity talks about Ghana, Vutu Madza Toli Fumabuna, and the male wolf dog, a sly force or wolf-like creature. So I went further to study when I was doing research in the United States. I met somebody from Mali, Bamana, cultural anthropologist and musician. So he told me Ghana, and described the action, as a place inhabited by wolf-like creatures. He said wolf. And then he talks about Sun, Zata, and explain it, and it corresponds to the Ewe usage. He talks about Senegal, Sunugo, and on the bank of a river, and not Senegal, the original name. And so I became convinced, and I continued to research. And then Mamata in 1978 also documented it, and I came across it in some other sources. So it became clear that, somewhere along the line I saw it. I can't remember that source specifically. It stated that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah gave the name of the old Ghana Empire to the country Ghana when we attained political independence in 1957, 6 March. Yeah, so obviously it was derived from the name of the old Ghana Empire. Yeah.
All right, so
stories of the other people, and the name Togbi Charlie came somewhere along the line, but listening to you this evening, I could not hear the name. So I was wondering if what I read elsewhere is wrong. So if you can give some clarification, I'll be very grateful.
Thank you very much, my son or brother. Yeah, it depends upon who is narrating the story, but there are certain versions that will be more authentic. If the person has done an in-depth research, then that person will be able to engage in a critical reflection on issues. So basically, Togbi Kuboka Bigat Gamadra, Tobinga Gamadra, and Keglapa, Gamadra's sister. So Keglapa Bigat Tamla. Tamla Bigat Detoy Aklamada. Detoy Aklamada Bigat Sali and Saria and Dorala. Whereas Gamadra Bigat Atu Wenya and Te Adatanyaki. So Tamla and Gamadra are first cousins. Gamadra begat Atu Wenya and Te Adatanyaki and Do Avajikla of Adadakoti and Chamiga Hutosachi, the state linguist, from whom Akaba and Co descended. So the Vodza and the Klamada, they will be what? Vodza and Tamla are first cousin. The Klamada, Charlie's father was Vodza's nephew. And Charlie was Vodza's grand-nephew. So, of course, the migration was, people moved in groups. So Charlie might have led some people, through Chama. But the fact remains that Vodza led the greater part of the Anglo people. And there is much empirical evidence about where they passed through and where you can find his descendants. I can tell you, when you go to Sasinyama, you go to my maternal side, Atumani, descendant of Vodza. You go to Avanofoma, a grandson of Vodza, Amagabiso, he founded Avanofoma. You come to Aviva, the majority of the people who founded that place were Donofo
clan members. Agbana was left at Vodza, and when they came, they consulted Agbana, and he, allowed them to settle at Afife. Then you come to Kliko. At first, you go to the Virgo, descendants of Avanyedo, Bani's children. You come to Avalaviga with the Akuna Fitu, descendants of Avanya. You go to Klonomadi, the same thing. You come to Kliko, Ado family. You come to Akama, Nyage, a son of Avanya, and Zachary family. You go to Aflau, Avema, Vanya's descendants, even the new Apokotuma. And then couple years, go and research. Now when you go to the Chama side, the Verma and the Apo area, that is where you find the descendants of the Chama people. So they also follow that birth. So if you are talking about the migration, those are grandchildren of Vanya. Well, of course, they also might have learned some people based upon the empirical evidence. But the greater part of the people were led by Togiga Vanya. And of course, his great-grandfather, Kukwok Agba, led the migration from Ketu. Then Gamedra led the migration from Dogonyigo. We had the Tado group, where the ancestors of Tokisri settled, his maternal side, before he ran away to his uncle at Kochi. Let me cut it short, okay? I hope you understand me.
All right, so my brother Rasmura, I hope you.
Mobi.